Thank you for watching Conscious Consumer Network. The live stream broadcast is free to view. You can pause and rewind live broadcasts to catch up, or view shows at a later date by accessing our free archives of all shows. Check out our broadcast guide to see what's on. You can show your support by donating to our network support fund. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or subscribe to the monthly newsletter for updates. We thank you for supporting free and independent media.
I think one of the hardest things to come to terms with is the fact that the people that chased her into the tunnel were the same people that were taking photographs of her while she was still dying on the back seat of the car. And William and I know that. We've been told that numerous times by people that know that was the case. She'd had quite a severe head injury, but she was very much still alive on the back seat. And those people that caused the accident, instead of helping, were taking photographs of her dying on the back seat. And then those photographs made their way back to news desks in this country.
When you have something so traumatic as the death of your mother when you're 15, as very sadly many people have experienced, and no one wants to experience, it leaves you, it'll either make or break you. And I wouldn't let it break me. I wanted it to make me. I wanted her to be proud of the person I would become. I didn't want her worried, or her legacy to be that, William or Harry were completely and utterly devastated by it, and that all the hard work and all the love and all the energy that she put into us when we were younger would go to waste.
Hi, I'm Shelby.
Hi, Will.
And we are Youth on Subjects of the World. Today's subject is how society treats celebrities. And sadly, this week it's only 2 people until the halftime.
Yep.
So, Willow,
Yes.
how badly do you think celebrities get treated in our society?
Well, for me, I think there's 2 points for celebrities. They're either treated really bad or they're treated like gods.
Yeah.
But I think they are treated pretty bad, depending on what happens and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot more singers, there it is, might be treated worse than a lot of other ones.
I feel like they are treated a little worse than any other celebrity, but our current president is getting bashed on Twitter.
Well, yeah, that's a whole different story. Yeah, that's pretty bad, but Obama got treated pretty bad by a lot of people too.
Oh yeah, I don't remember very much of it because I was so young, but I remember getting told stories that he was hated. He wasn't accepted when he was president. Because especially on Donald Trump's inauguration day, that there were so many riots. I was like, was it like this when President Obama got elected? And I was like, yeah, but these are worse. Way worse.
Yeah. When I remember the whole time when we were in school, it was just like, oh, Obama or Mitt Romney, Mitt Romney and all that. And I remember that it was just very hectic.
Yeah.
And I really didn't see much with Obama being treated bad because, again, we were young. But now that I'm older, I then realized more of what happened during the whole time he was a celebrity.
Yeah.
Yes, it has. Social media has made treating celebrities worse.
I think as far as musician-wise, for the way musician celebrities get treated is, no clue where I was going to go with that one. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I feel like they kind of get treated like gods because of what they created, and or at least in my mindset, like, because music should be appreciated no matter how, like, how bad you think the music is. It was still made, and it should still be appreciated.
Yeah, and even if you think the music's bad, someone else thinks the music's like the most amazing thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's either like they get treated really bad, or they get treated really good. But I think it's all different depending on what kind of music too. Because I think country artists get a lot of hate.
Oh, they get so much hate. I am part of that hate, but I mean, they still make music, so it still needs to be appreciated, but in my mind, it's, come on, you can do better in life.
Yeah, I was just about to mention Bo Burnham did a whole thing about, like, country music, but I think that is different, though, because he's more referencing more modern-day country music, but a lot of older stuff a lot of people like, and I think a lot of the older stuff's better than a lot of the modern stuff, because they use a lot of the same things throughout the whole.
Yeah, of course. Older music is way better than the current music we have right now.
Cool to hate. Yeah, that is a good point. A bunch of bands are cool to hate or cool to like or something like that.
Oh, the trendiness of the population now.
Yeah, get influenced by other people. And I was a lot like that before. I got into a lot of bands. Well, not into, but I, like, quote unquote liked a lot of bands because a lot of people in, like, this friend group I had liked the band, so I'm like, I don't know what else to do, so I'll like these bands. So that a lot of it is influence, I think.
Yeah. I think as far as actors and actresses, they deal with a lot more mental things and getting told their body should look this way or the body should look the other way.
Especially more female actors and actresses.
Oh, yes. The female actresses get a lot of, like, mental stuff. They don't even get that much hate. Like, they'll get a few hate comments that they have to call out, and they'll be like, hey, like, this is why I do this, and this is why I do that. But as far as the hate, I feel like the female actresses don't get that much hate.
Definitely. I think it's more towards their image and how they look and all that. And it is a good point with people don't think of that they have feelings or anything like that. They don't think that they're actual people.
Everyone is a human. Everyone has feelings.
But I think even with male actors, they also have maybe not more. They have slight thing with how they look and all that, and like all that. I can't remember. But I don't think, again, it's as much with females.
I've tried interacting with celebrities. I actually went to Comic-Con and interacted with one of, like, not even, like, they're not considered celebrities. They're considered artists and authors.
Yeah, they're considered, like, these, like, awesome people that you know about.
Yeah, but in their mindset, they're like, I am this really socially awkward person. Why are you coming up to me? Because that's how it was at Comic-Con. They were like, I went up to all the creators that were there, and I was like, do you want to sign my shirt? And I actually have the shirt up on my wall currently. And they'll, like, I got one author, Caitlin. I basically came up to her and she was like, "Oh my god, you're so cute. I want to hug you now." And it was great because in my mind, I was shaking. I was literally shaking while she was signing my shirt, and then she's like, "Do you want a hug?" And I sit there and I nod, just smiling as wide as I can.
I've never really tried to interact with celebrities too much. When I went to ColossalCon, I went to the Taylor Davis concert, and I got a lot of pictures. And one of my friends is like, "Why don't you send them to her? Why don't you send them to her?" I'm like, how could I ever send these pictures to this like awesome person that like, it's not like an idol, but it feels like they're an idol or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, how'd you even do that?
Like,
crazy.
To even have that much confidence to upload anything to the internet and become famous off of that is like mind-blowing. And I think, and we can even start this on a new topic. How do people get famous over uploading videos of themselves screaming on the internet? Like how?
I've never really gotten much experience with that because I've never watched videos like that. So, but
my brother.
that is a good point because I know that your brother has like played those screaming videos and they're atrocious.
They're atrocious when you first hear them and you're like, "Get this out of my face. It's horrid." And then and then it starts playing over and over and over again and you're just like, "Okay, this is kind of funny now." And you kind of start to like it, and that's how people get famous, is they get the views that keep coming back.
Well, I think with getting famous, it's either like it's just you post this one video and it ends up going viral and everyone loves it, or like you work a whole bunch. You work to become famous. Like Burnham worked. I don't know how long it was, but he worked a bunch. He took a lot of his time trying to build up himself so he will be able to do shows to become more of this bigger person.
And especially with comedians with their with like open mics and you're just letting the jokes flow out. There's a lot of confidence that has to go behind that. It takes a lot of confidence to even just do that.
Yes, it does, because even just like maybe well, I think it would take a lot of confidence, or at least a lot of confidence that you are funny yourself. Because like if you don't think that, then like I don't think a person would be able to actually walk up and do it. Arrogance, yes.
See, you want actors will take, like, not even actors, like people who get famous on the internet for uploading selfies on, let's say, Instagram.
Okay.
Like they have like millions of followers, but all they do is upload their life on the internet.
And I think that's kind of like how bloggers are. They get famous off of their life.
But the way I feel like bloggers make their life look interesting when really bloggers are sitting in front of a computer screen, giving you recipes. I guess like the haters would call it bragging. The fans would call it explaining or giving you a view into their life.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where you draw the differences. You have the haters who call it bragging, and you have the fans who call it life, and just this really spectacular life.
But like, sometimes it's not really that spectacular, but people just like to watch it. I don't know how people are really fascinated in other people's lives like that. I don't personally understand that, because I've never watched vloggers before, so I don't get the appeal, but I know both my sisters have watched vloggers. One just watches art bloggers, and the other one, I have no idea what she watches, to be honest. But it is interesting how people are so into lives like that. What were you about to say?
I got into vloggers, but I quickly fell out. I really got into it because I wanted to see what it was like for the rest of the world. Because as a sheltered homeschool kid, you don't see very much of that.
True.
And so I wanted to get a view into anyone else's life. And so I went on YouTube and I found a couple vloggers, subscribed to them, watched them for like a few months, realized they made their life look fun. Instead of just sitting at home like the rest of us are doing. And
yeah, like what normal people do every day.
Yeah.
Like they could be doing that every day, but since they're vlogging, whatever, they decide, why not make my life look interesting even though it's not.
Yeah.
But that is a good point, how a lot of the famous people have like issues with depression or anxiety or some mental health issues, something like that. And that, I think that can like get them pretty deep if you actually like bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone thinks, oh, there's this confident person that's able to do all these things, but really it's not that easy for them.
No, it's not.
I think that's with a lot of things. Like it's not easy for, let's say, musicians to be musicians or people who are artists to post their art, and if they get negative feedback and stuff like that, they might get really affected by that.
It brings down their confidence, and it makes them want to not do what they're doing, and that's kind of how I feel is when people compliment me on my art, I want to do more art, and here I am with a pile of art.
But like,
and then when someone says,
like saying, oh, your art is the worst thing I've ever seen or anything like that, how do you think that makes them feel?
Yeah.
They don't want to do any more art because they think their art is just horrible and no one likes it and no one cares or anything like that.
Fun. Want to do a fun trivia? One of the there's a famous artist who has ADHD and grew up Mormon and was a socially awkward kid because of what his school made him believe. And now he's this famous celebrity in the eyes of so many teenagers and so many adults because he got famous over a band.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
His name is Brendan Urie, lead singer of Panic at the Disco.
I did not know that.
So a lot of musicians and singers and people who are in bands come from dark pasts, or I guess not normal pasts. Some of them are dark and some of them are just like you rarely find someone who had a normal past. I subscribe to a Facebook page that tells you about the history behind some of our favorite artists today.
Mm-hmm. But that is true. A lot of people did go through a very rough life before they became famous. Mm-hmm. I can't think of anyone who had like a good, solid suburban lifestyle and then became famous.
It's very hard to find those, you know? No one really has a normal life.
Nope, not anymore. But, like, I think older celebrities probably might have had more of a mundane past compared to more recent, probably.
Yeah.
But I would actually have to look that up if that's actually a thing.
Oh, drug addictions in the musicians. Drug addictions are a huge issue. Um, a lot of, I feel like, in my mind, I would think the only reason to do the hardcore drugs they're doing, are, like, the pressure, the amount of pressure they're under to succeed in having all these, like, millions of fans that adore you and think you're a god, but when really it's the pressure of having to maintain that that makes them that leads to the drug addictions.
Because they have to maintain the whole thing with, oh, they're so popular.
Yeah.
And so they have to maintain them being popular, or else people are just going to probably just forget about them.
Yeah.
And
oh, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
I was going to say, and I guess along with the pressure of making a positive impact on the world, or, like, even just a certain country, that you kind of just, like, the artists in them is telling them, make a positive impact and do this so you'll be remembered when you die. And I feel like a lot of ways people, like celebrities, die is drug overdoses, and it kind of hurts.
Yeah, it's something like that. They, like, kill themselves, a drug overdose, or they get, and, like, a lot of stuff like that. And it's very sad to think about, because a lot of these people work to be able to be popular.
Yeah.
And be remembered, and hope that they're remembered. But, like, they never get to see, like, oh. I might be able to, sorry. They might be able to get remembered and all that, but they will never actually know if they can.
Oh, yeah. This live stream, if we do get up to 100,000 people or more, it would, I guess it would feel like you're living a lie, but an important thing to remember when you're doing, like, live streams like this is to just remember that not only for this specific live stream that we're doing, it's educational. It's supposed to be educational, so you're speaking from your mind and personal experience, and and that it's just a show, like,
yeah, it's very not low key, but it's very,
it's not popular-ish, really.
Not yet.
We get a few viewers. We get a few viewers each week.
It's good, but at least with something like this, it's kind of hard to get off the topic of being more popular, not popular, but doing more fake, because, like, I don't understand how you'd be able to do something with this.
I would feel like it would be publicity. You'd want more publicity, which means you have to find something that will make you this huge thing in the magazines and papers and news and whatever. And just, it's a thing that goes through their head that's like, oh, maybe if I do this, people will like me more. It's kind of what it's kind of what I feel like goes through kids' heads in school when they're like, oh my god, there's the popular kids. And then they start thinking something's wrong with them, the reason people don't like them, the same.
Yeah, and it's really difficult. Like, let's say you're a really big fan of this thing, and it's not very popular, but then over time it gets popular and completely changes just so it can appeal to more people.
Yeah.
And that's that's not very fun because, like, the whole reason you got into it is because it was the way it was before.
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't want it to change. And that would be a very upsetting thing to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I guess living a lie could lead to drug addiction because you have to, I mean, maybe, I don't know if this makes sense, but maybe you could, having a drug addiction and living a lie, those two things could meet because you have to be in like a mindset that you are this person and not the person you were like 4 years ago before anyone knew who you ever were.
Mm-hmm. But even like when they're living a lie or feel like something like that, they don't immediately turn to drugs. They could turn to alcohol.
Yes, that starts an alcohol addiction.
Mm-hmm. And that's not good either, obviously.
No.
But they either, like, I think it's mostly alcohol or drugs, or they just completely go off the rails.
Yeah. Now it's awkward silence.
Favorite celebrities? Paparazzi, that one.
Ooh, paparazzi. TMZ. They're finding lies.
What's TMZ? Oh.
It's kind of what like most people think when they think celebrity news. That's where they go.
Okay.
Paparazzi is a huge thing. I would hate to have a person following me around all the time with a camera.
Well, it's not even getting followed around with the camera all the time. It's people just finding you. Like, you can't just have a normal day out in public.
No.
Because you gotta risk being spotted or something like that.
You gotta go with, like, full-on disguise. Dye your hair for a day, wear a wig, put on a hat, put on colors you've never worn before.
Do something.
Look like a total piece of... Like, you gotta look like a total piece of trash, like you're just bumming it, like you got no clothes at home.
You gotta look like just a completely different person to have a normal day out in public.
Yes.
Do you want to do relationships with Princess Diana?
Whoa. That's a dark subject. And about Princess Diana, that seems dark. I feel like all the fangirls would have start to have an absolute ball when like their favorite, like two of their favorite celebrities become a couple. It's like, oh my god, I thought this would never happen. Only in my dreams. And then they go crazy.
And also, a lot of things are influenced by the internet too. Because, like, two YouTubers, Dan and Phil, they are shipped so hard together. And you must think they would get so tired of that.
I would.
Because it's just, it's just over and over and over and over again of just them shipping people.
Oh my god.
And that just feels very stressed out. Or, like, when someone gets a divorce or breaks up, it's very, like, popular. That is...
Oh my god, yeah, that leads to even more, like, paparazzi nonsense that they don't want to deal with, because then they're constantly getting asked, especially when they go to, like, red carpet events, that, like, is it true? Is this true? Blah, blah,
and, like,
blah,
that's
blah.
their life right there. That's their life, is just dealing with that at that moment.
Yeah, I feel like at one point everyone was envious of a celebrity because of the life they have. Like, I know I'm definitely envious of the girl who played Rory Gilmore in the Gilmore Girls because of her house. She has multiple houses, and she got a new one built this year.
Oh, wow.
And, oh my god, it's spectacular. Her house is beautiful.
And,
on the subject of favorite celebrities, she's one of my favorite celebrities.
I don't have very many favorite celebrities.
jealousy could very easily lead to bullying.
Yes.
Very easily.
Because, like, you're jealous of this one person, like how they, let's say it's a female celebrity, about how they look or something, and then you start bringing them down about it. Like, you get to look this way and I don't, then I'm just going to attack you for it.
Yeah, I'm going to be salty about it.
Mm-hmm. Basically. But I can't think of many other situations where a celebrity would be attacked or bullied. How about you?
Besides what we've already said, which is saying something stupid on the internet, or
getting false
I feel like
quotes.
What?
Like getting falsely quoted.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That
I know there was a lot of those with like Obama and a lot of the running candidates. They get falsely quoted, and then everyone thinks that's true, and then they just blow up about it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person said blah blah blah. It's either a very good thing, like they get falsely quoted and make it seem like a good thing they said, or make it seem like a bad thing if you're against that person.
Yeah.
Because if you're, like, let's say Hillary Clinton, let's say you're against Hillary Clinton, get a false quote from that someone thought she said, and then it's like, oh, this must be true because I don't like her. So why wouldn't it be true?
Yeah, that's definitely not something that's okay.
Mm-mm.
It's always nice to have so many opinions on one person, because then you get the broad spectrum of what people think about that person. But when it leads to falsely quoting and bullying and just essentially rage full on against the person, then it's not okay.
Yep, no, it's not. Oh, celebrities, kids. I've never seen much about celebrities bullying each other.
I haven't.
I've never really heard about that much before.
Interesting.
You?
Oh, yes, I'm familiar with Eminem ripping into people with his songs. Like, he full on calls people out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. His raps are pretty good, though. You can actually see where he's struggling in life versus, like, through his albums, or which ones he's struggling through life and which ones he's not.
Yeah. Oh, Paris Hilton.
No.
I know there's a guy. Is that Paris Hilton? I know there's a girl, Paris Hilton. Yes. Oh, yeah, I heard of Paris Hilton before, but I don't know too much about him. I just heard of him before, but I heard a lot of people don't like him. That makes sense. That's not good.
Oh, wow. Oh.
That's cool. Outed people who were LGBT. Oh, that's...
Ooh.
Yeah, outing people that you know are LGBT and them not particularly wanting to do that right then because that's their personal information.
Yeah.
That's not cool at all. I don't know why someone would ever do that. Do you want to talk about how celebrities' kids are treated in schools?
I feel like the celebrity kids can only be friends with like other celebrities because Because, like, with the society we live in now, that, like, if you're a celebrity, the kids will, like, full-on attack you with, hey, you're rich, let's hang out, and just only want you for that.
Yeah, and I remember an episode of Friends, Ross's kid, Ben, went to school with Sting's kid. And so Phoebe wanted to use that as pretending to be one of the mothers to get tickets to Sting. And a lot of stuff like that, I assume, happens. Of people wanting to use their parents or use them to get advantages of getting money or getting stuff like tickets, autographs, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And then them, like, just, like, them turning their backs on them.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
As far as kids who don't have celebrity parents that are celebrities, I feel like a lot of the kids, they're gonna get a lot of, like, hate, like, oh, you're popular, like,
Because, like, there's a lot of young singers on YouTube that sing, and
all the Disney stars started out there as 10-year-old kids, which I find absolutely amazing.
And then, like, as a kid, you never think, oh, yeah, I'm going to be popular when I grow up or whatever. You're just...
No, self-esteem kicks in, and it's like, get out of here. You're not going to be like that. Like, your low self-esteem as a child, like, low self-esteem starts when you're, like, 11, and it just builds up more.
How about, like, kids that are in pageants and stuff like that? They're not necessarily celebrities, but I feel like this is kind of similar topic.
It is similar. I feel like we can relate to it with the attitude that comes along with being a celebrity, because the attitudes the kids have, like, as a celebrity, they think they're above the world, they're above the law, and it's definitely not okay.
But I think a lot of pageant kids get forced into pageants because their mother was a pageant kid when she was younger, or something like that. And so that kid, let's say, doesn't want to be in a pageant at all, just resents it their whole life, but they still have to do it because their mom puts them through it.
Yeah.
And they just have to deal with it because they can't do anything. They're just a kid.
I feel like with the Princess Diana thing, where they were taking pictures of her instead of helping her, oh, that's even worse, because, like, you can't, it's definitely not okay, because not only was she a princess, like, she was in line for a throne, but, if you see anyone in need of help, no matter how popular, how much of a celebrity they are, you need to help them.
I know, and that's just, you would think basic human knowledge. Like, you see someone in need of help, you go. You don't just sit and take pictures. But, like, people do that when someone's going to jump off a building. Like, I've seen that a whole bunch. Like, they take pictures instead of actually thinking or helping. Like, so, they can call the cops, but is there anything they can do at that moment to help? Money is not more important than humanity. Not at all.
Yeah.
I could never imagine actually, like, paying money for something of when someone was dying just because, oh, it happened and so I need it in my magazine, so I'm going to pay all this money because this person died.
Absolutely ridiculous. As of kids that become famous whether they want to or not, that goes back to having celebrity parents and you being this person who thinks I shouldn't be living this life, because you do have some of those kids. I know there's some out there that are like, oh, I kind of don't want this life.
I just want to live a normal life like any other kid.
Yeah.
I want to go to a normal school because I think
I feel like a lot of them go to private schools.
Private schools because their families are rich.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, you go to a private school, so you don't even get to interact with normal kids.
Yeah.
You just interact with a bunch of these other famous kids and other famous people and all that. Not famous people, but rich kids.
Yeah. And
What do you think about people living their lives on social media?
I know I personally can't like judge anyone on this because a lot of my friends are online. But
well, what I'm more talking about, like, they live their lives on Instagram and
like they're famous
Twitter
for this thing.
I can't think of any other social media sites, but all that, yeah. Like, I'm fine with having online friends. It's okay.
I feel like they could try a little harder in life. Just because it doesn't make any sense to, like, at least not to me, to have this entire like fan base based on nothing. Like, sure, if you're uploading your art to Instagram or you're uploading your art to Patreon or whatever, go for it. Your art needs to be appreciated.
Those, I think, are different, though, because those are actually making those, like, I listen to a not pretty popular but decently popular singer on YouTube, and she has a Patreon and all that, but she's like, she does a lot of her support on Patreon and being able to be supported. But I'm more talking about like younger kids, like in their teens and all that. Basically, instead of socializing, they just post things on Twitter and Instagram and all that. Because I'm fine with just posting your art if you want to get your art out.
Yeah, those are two different things, but they're two completely different things. But then again, they can come hand in hand, because one and I see this as like the only option. That posting things on the internet you can get famous for, but it depends on what you post, whether or not you should be famous or not. And with kids just posting selfies and posting their life, it's like a blog, and it's...
Yeah,
I'm sorry, you could try a little harder to become famous, you know, there's other things you can do.
Blogs and vlogs, I just think are very... I think they become popular very quick, but I think there's just too many of them.
There is a lot of them.
Because that's just a very easy way for them to get in.
I have a cat. She's just willingly sitting here. I feel like in a lot of kids' minds, money versus humanity is definitely like one of their top things, like, because especially kids don't understand the value of money yet, or, I mean, depending on how young you are, maybe you do, maybe you don't.
Well, I think they either do understand the value of money or they either don't.
Yeah. And so it's just, not only is it a matter of like how young you are, and I kind of feel bad for all of the like 6-year-olds who have to be put in front of cameras every time their parents go on the red carpet, like they're being forced to go with.
Mhm.
I kind of feel bad for them. I'm like, well, looks like you're having a swell time there with all the adults. But then again, I'm a little bit envious because they might get to grow up around like Neil Patrick Harris, the guy who plays
Mhm.
Barney in How I Met Your Mother,
Yes.
or Billy Joe Armstrong, or just amazing people who have amazing talents, and they're just, that's like what they call like their uncle, like, because it's like a
Mhm.
family friend, like they just, it's like their family to them, but to everyone else it's like, oh my god, that kid is a lucky duckling.
And I think that does happen a lot. And I think they feel like it's very normal because that's like how they live their life. Like
Yeah.
they just always saw this person. So it's like, yeah, I know this person. What's the big deal? They're just person.
But then you have to think, what happens when their parents fall and they're no longer considered famous or a celebrity?
Mhm. Because then do you just lose connection with them? This person that you knew your whole life, you just kind of get left? I actually read an article before of this more famous person who started unschooling their kids, and the person's like, why are you doing this? Your kid can just eat ice cream for breakfast and that's just fine.
Oh, I had a friend in public school who ate cookies and milk for lunch, and it's because he was allergic to almost everything on the planet. Yeah. He had to have gluten-free cookies. He was allowed to have dairy. He was allergic to like 90% of the vegetables and fruits. He couldn't have cheese. He couldn't have like tomatoes, so he couldn't eat pizza on Wednesdays. Just anything and everything you could think of that the school would be serving, he could not have.
If he could have dairy, how could he have cheese?
Same with, personally, I've experienced that. When I eat pizzas, I get constipated and gassy. But when I drink milk, that doesn't happen. Same with my mom. When she eats ice cream, she feels like she's dying, but she can still have milk in her coffee.
Okay.
So,
like, I understand. Like, I just don't like the taste of milk, or it's just disgusting and kind of makes me feel sick. But all right. There was a big boxing match. What?
I feel like as of the boxing match that happened a few nights ago, the way celebrities treat each other that way, yes, they were talking trash, but it's about good sportsmanship. No matter what kind of fighter you are, whether you're heavyset, lightweight, whatever, it doesn't matter as long as you have good sportsmanship and you understand. Yes, you did talk trash. Yes, you lost, but it's your work. You, like, as long as you enjoyed it, even if you did get the crap beat out of you, shake your opponent's hand, smile, and say that was a good match.
Yeah, and I think a lot of stuff like that too, they don't actually really mean it in more fighting. Well, probably. I don't know. I'm not too experienced in that.
Neither am I.
But I can imagine them not being like totally serious, like them actually being completely serious about their whole trash talk. And they're doing it just to like kind of show off and all that.
Yeah. As of more trash talking, I feel like the trash talking it's a way of letting out any anger that you might have before the match. Because I know I give a lot of my friends crap. Like, if I know you can't handle the crap, I won't give you crap. Or if I know you'll take it too seriously. But a lot of my friends, they don't take it seriously, so I'm just like, and here comes the crap.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of just giving like kind of not bullying, but kind of like messing with your friends.
Yes,
that's
kind of like how we talked about last week.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how we talked about last week. There's a fine line between, or I guess not a fine line, but there's a line between bullying and just
Messing around and
like
goofing off.
just shit talking your friends.
Like everyone does that to their friends.
I do it a lot.
Push each other around and all that.
Mhm.
But I think trash talk in more celebrity way, it might be serious. I think it could be a bit hard to figure out what's being serious and what's not being serious. And so you need to make sure that that person that you're trash talking knows that if you're being serious or not.
Yeah.
Because you can't just start trash talking someone and then they have no idea if you're actually being serious. So are you like actually offending them or anything?
Kind of like how we do to Dylan. He is a potato. He's a lucky potato.
He's not a potato.
No, he's not a potato, but he's lucky.
He actually might be watching, so.
Ha! Hi, Dylan. Okay, back on subject. I feel like I haven't seen any celebrities that would homeschool their children / unschool.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like private schools are more widely known. Well, I mean, I guess tutoring sort of is kind of like homeschooling because
well, like I said before, like I read an article about I don't know who it was, I don't remember, but they weren't like a huge celebrity, but like they unschooled the kids, and these press are just giving them complete shit about it.
Oh my god!
Why would you do that? They had one kid answer a question, and they kind of stumbled before they answered the question, so that means they're not smart.
I'm sorry, what? I am appalled with this. Oh my god,
I know, it's horrible. Like even in public school, you can kind of stumble on a question.
I feel like with the same like socially awkwardness, public school and homeschool have almost the same because, I mean, sure, you have more confident people in public school, but there's still the majority of them are like awkward to all get out. So they're like
these awkward little kids.
Yes.
And you think that's helping them with saying like, oh, you didn't answer it in 3 seconds, that means you get a fail.
That is my exact problem with telling people I'm homeschooled. My exact problem. Because they'll look at me, like adults and sometimes teenagers, because a lot of the little kids are like, oh my god, that's super cool, you're homeschooled. That means you get to stay at home and do whatever you want. I'm like, sort of. Sort of. For the most part, yes. But teenagers will look at me and they'll start immediately judging me and like putting me in this box of unsocialized. Even though I am unsocialized, I just don't like being put in that box. I don't like being judged within the first 20 minutes of our conversation with being unsocialized. True,
but it's not fun that everyone gets that
Yes.
It's not fun that you get associated as that right away, even if it's true or not.
Yeah. And then and then what adults do, like, because a kid, I've seen people do this too, is, I'll finish up my sentence and then we can break. I've seen people do this to me, and they'll look at me and they'll go, hey, what's this plus this, or what's the history on this? It's essentially testing you to see how much you learned. Yeah. And I absolutely hate that, and I feel really bad that anyone else has to go through that because it's not fun.
Yeah, personally, I haven't gone through that much, but my mom always says just prepare yourself if people just start doing that.
Yeah.
Because there's just
All right, we're going to go on break, and we'll have someone else joining us when we come back from break.
Yep.
We'll see you guys then.
Since tonight is a night on which we'll be focused on a Twitter battle, I thought it would be appropriate to introduce another edition of our popular segment, Mean Tweets. This is where we ask celebrities to read some of the terrible things people write about them on Twitter. We do this as a public service, and tonight, in honor of Kanye West's appearance, we bring you a special musician edition of Mean Tweets.
I hate when people ask me why I hate Selena Gomez. Like, I just do.
John Legend seems like he cries after sex.
Jared Leto can suck my
That Demi Lovato song, Make It Stop, please.
I'd rather hear Morgan Freeman talk me through masturbation than hear Darius Rucker sing a power ballad.
Zac Brown Band, your music used to be good and I could jam to it, but now it sucks major. Fix it, holy.
Lady Antebellum singing the national anthem actually kind of makes me hate America.
Pharrell looks like a sewer rat.
John Mayer looks like a booze-soaked turd wrapped in a Dumb and Dumber tux.
So Adam Levine is old.
Thinking of unfriending everyone on Facebook whose status update is Kid Rock concert was awesome. Have a little respect for yourself.
Mayor Hawthorne looks and sounds like a
Kesha is a crack whore.
You, Backstreet Boys.
suck my
Big Sean, more like big douche.
I don't know your music because I don't drive a pickup and I don't sleep with my sister. Fair enough.
Katy Perry is the perfect example of fit, but annoying as
Lil Wayne looks like a crab apple. I don't know what a crab apple is. Oh yeah.
My big question about the Fall Out Boy reunion crap is Pete Wentz still a
Yeah.
2 Chainz looks like Whoopi Goldberg.
Apologies to and Whoopi.
Hi.
Hello, I'm Martin. I'm here now. And I missed the first half of this, but this was actually my idea to do this topic. And the reason I wanted to do it was because one of the people that I looked up to for a long time died and he killed himself. And I think the way people treated him beforehand had something to do with that. And I think that happens a lot with celebrities, especially musicians, because they get called like sellouts or whatever. And that, I think, has a big impact on their psyche and like being able to handle themselves, especially if you're a musician that plays a genre of music that is not the mainstream and people are calling you sellouts. That can mess with you. So that's the reason why I suggested this topic. I'm sorry I wasn't here for the first half. Could anyone give me like a quick recap of what you guys talked about?
We talked about how kids are affected by being celebrities and how they're affected at having celebrity parents and not being a celebrity themselves. We covered if you see a celebrity and help, like with the Princess Diana thing where the paparazzi was taking pictures of them and pictures of her as she was dying instead of helping. You need to not do that. You need to help. We covered, briefly touched on how, like, some of our favorite celebrities. We covered how it's popular these days to like a certain band and hate a different band. We covered, do you ever interact with celebrities? Do you interact with celebrities, Martin?
Not really.
Like through Twitter, or ever go and meet one in Comic-Con or anything?
Like, I've met a couple people. I met Vince Vaughn in a hotel lobby for an unschooling conference once.
Nice.
So that was cool. But that's about it.
We did not cover depression and anxiety. We can cover that one next.
I think we did very briefly.
Briefly, not enough.
Yeah, not enough.
Covered how a lot of celebrities go through drug addictions and how drug addictions can lead to living a lie, or how living a lie can lead to drug addictions. I guess vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially with child actors. I mean, there's the whole thing around child actors and how they never turn out well. There's a lot of examples of that, and some end sad and some end happy. Like the two I can think of are like Judy Garland and whoever played the middle child on Full House.
Oh.
Because they both went down dark paths, and then Judy Garland did not recover, and I think her name is like Jodie or something, did recover and is currently an actress again, and she has 2 kids. And it's interesting because some people can make it past. There's a lot of examples of people like making it into acting as an adult without really having any problems, and then there's examples of it not happening like that.
Yeah. We cover paparazzi and how stupid TMZ is. Got any things on that you'd like to share?
It's stupid.
Yeah.
We did.
How about the effects on media might be having on celebrities in relationships and marriages?
I think social media, especially, like, obviously the news sites and the gossip magazines, those are problems too. But social media in general has made it so that there's a barrier. We talked about this a little last week on the bullying one.
Yep.
And this is a direct sequel to that, as we were talking, as me and the other producers were talking about it when we were thinking about having this topic. But yeah, it's really hard because as a person, when you're just typing on the internet like, oh, this song sucks, this band has sold out, or hey, they're like, these people got fat, or whatever, or they're like, this marriage is never gonna last. When you're constantly doing that without actually knowing the people or knowing how what you're saying, who's gonna find that, how that's gonna affect them, is not okay. But there's that barrier. Like, you're never going to see someone on the street and say that to them unless you're an ass. But you can easily say that on the internet and be a perfectly nice person.
Yeah.
But there's that barrier, and you don't really think about what you're saying, about the fact that what you're saying could be hurtful to that person.
Yeah. Do you think jealousy leads to bullying? Like being envious or jealous of a celebrity because they have this, and you, I guess not you specifically, but like a person could think, man, I really want that, and then they get super jealous, and then they start bullying the celebrity. Like, do you think that could happen?
I think that can happen. I think it's more common in everyday life with like regular people. I did want to address that, how celebrities are regular people.
Yes. Treat them like regular people.
A lot of people think. I'm not a big fan of the term celebrities or celebs or whatever people call them nowadays, or whatever all the youngins are calling them on the face of books and stuff like that. But like, I don't understand why there's such a big deal about it, because a lot of the time they're just normal people, especially with people like our age who are famous on Disney Channel or whatever. And a lot of the people that are like, I used to think a lot of the people that would say mean things were the same age as them. But then I realized some of the people that are insulting them are like 40 or whatever. Like there's a lot of people who just don't understand that these people are people, first of all, they're children.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I just think it's really weird how people can be, we talked about this, Faith talked about this last week, how she had a friend who became famous on the lip syncing app and is now like famous, and it's weird, and there's all that stuff going on over there that we talked about. I'm not going to rehash it because it's a very long story.
Yeah.
But it's just really weird how people can just, especially in this day and age, get famous for no reason. Like, well, obviously
it comes randomly.
but it comes randomly. Like people get like Chewbacca mom. That person
my God.
bought that mask that changes the voice of Chewbacca, her voice into Chewbacca's voice and moves when she talks. That person got thousands of dollars for buying a toy. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's good. You managed to like create your own job, but at the same time, like they're still a normal person. And I remember so many people getting so angry at her for no reason.
Why? You can't get angry. She's sitting there laughing her ass off
they're just
because
like- yeah.
it moves and she
Yeah.
didn't expect it.
It's like they're angry because they don't understand how people get famous nowadays. Well, first of all, when you say that, you're contributing to their fame by talking about them more. So you're actually doing the reverse of what you're trying to do. Second of all, just let them be happy. There's no reason to make it a big deal out of the fact that she bought a mask and she got famous. There's no reason to make a big deal out of that. People made a big deal out of that. She got famous. That's cool. That's a cool story. It should not make people mad. It doesn't make sense to have people. It makes even less sense for people to get mad about it than for people to like be happy about it. It's so hard to separate. And I know because I've done it. I think a lot of people do it without even thinking about it, to separate the fact that these are people, not just famous. Especially if someone's played like an iconic role in a movie or whatever.
Or a TV show.
Or a TV show and stuff like that. And you know them as this. And when you meet them, they're not like this, but you expect them to be how they are. Like you just automatically do that because that's what you know of them. Or you think you know who they are just by reading online about them. Like it's so easy to fall into that trap of I know this person because I see them but they can't see me. It's really hard to get past that. Once you do, you can realize, holy shit, I've been a jerk for years. But it takes a while to get to that point, and a lot of people, if you point it out, they deflect it, saying, oh, I would never do that, and they should know they should be used to criticism. That's what you do for getting in the music business or the acting business or the putting on Chewbacca mask business. But whatever, like it's really weird.
I agree with the people who are saying they need to learn how to take criticism, because there are going to be people that are going to criticize, but the way they need to take the criticism is carefully consider it to see if you do need to change or if you want to change or if that's just the style you're going for, and then shut the criticism up if you don't want the criticism. Say, hey, I feel like you're being a little too rude about that, so I'm just going to ignore it. Like,
yeah. There's there's like a difference between criticism and attacking.
Yes. Yeah. Big difference. Silence.
Martin froze.
I know. Martin froze. I'm gonna screenshot the smug face. It's my smug face now.
Yes, I think he did.
He's on a different thing, yeah. Hello! There's two of you.
What just happened?
You froze.
You have
yeah,
things up.
I should probably mention my internet is really bad here and I might drop off because I'm I'm not in my home base.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right.
Still wanted to participate though?
Yeah, sorry, I was fixing my sound settings. So, am I in the middle of a topic? What happened?
You were kind of in the middle of the topic. What was the last sentence you said?
Okay, I don't even remember what that was. So, we were talking about celebrities. That's a thing. Celebrities exist.
Yeah.
Most people know what they are.
Yes.
I think I was talking about the difference between criticism and...
Yes.
Bullying them.
Yeah, I think that's all I had to say, and then I froze.
Okay. Well, that's good that you didn't freeze in the middle of your sentence.
Yeah, that would suck very much.
There was something that we wanted to mention that we completely skipped over.
Yeah, I love it when we do that. I remember there's one topic we did once, and we had this big key point we wanted to talk about, and we forgot to talk about it.
Oh, no.
And then after we were done, it was a really good show. I don't remember which one this was, but after that was done, I remember being like, that was great. And then realizing, wait, we forgot about like our big point that we
the
were
whole big thing
about.
that everyone planned.
I feel like the big point in this one is treat celebrities like humans, please.
Yes.
Everyone has feelings.
Exactly.
Behind anything that you're using, even if it's a screen, you're famous for the internet. Just treat them like a human. Everyone has feelings.
Yes, but then you get the opposite side of that. We've been talking about how we treat celebrities, but then there's celebrities that get a big head and decide, they're better than everyone else. They are more important because they can lip sync to music or whatever. Like, I'm just using an example, but there's a lot of famous people that really don't grab the concept of the fact that they're just a normal person that happens to have a good talent. And I'm not saying don't be confident in your talent. If you're good at something, don't be afraid to do something that you're good at, but don't be so overly confident that it's frustrating to be around you or to talk about you. Be humble, and I think that's something that a lot of celebrities try to do, and I think they can accidentally not just by accident. And I think I understand both sides of it, but when someone is like that, it's very easy to criticize them for it, like I was doing right now, and they might deserve the criticism, but then if you go as far as to openly attack them, that's when it's past that threshold of being okay anymore. Like Kanye West, he loves himself a lot. He cares about himself a lot. He is very, very confident in the fact that he is Kanye West. And he is made it very known that he is very proud of himself and that he is the greatest rapper to ever live or ever will. And, well, I disagree with that, and I think the guy is a tool. It doesn't mean I can go on the internet and tell him I'm going to kill him or whatever, like I've seen some people do or heard some people that I know say.
Yeah, that's not okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure he gets called a tool a lot. But it's definitely a point of, are you criticizing them or are you just trying to hurt them because you don't like them? There are I feel like there's definitely, you can get creative with telling celebrities how you really feel about them. Whether it's positive or negative, you can be creative with it.
Yeah, because you don't have to just say kill yourself or something just because you don't like their music or don't like the content that they do.
I think one thing that is a very, very big example of this. So you might not have heard of him, but there's this guy Justin Bieber. I don't know. He's fairly new. I don't know who he is. But so basically, here's how I feel about it. I'm a metalhead. Every single person in my community makes a point of making fun of him. I don't like his music or his look or his act or whatever or
anything
persona or anything about him. But he was a kid when he got famous, and he received a lot of hate and a lot of people, and then he also received a lot of people telling him how great he was, and now he has a
lot
big
of love and hate.
Yeah. And you got to think about the fact that even if you don't like someone or you don't like how I feel, I don't like him. I have made a point in the past to friends or like a cousins that like him because I don't like that style of music. I don't like him, but I have always tried to be very careful with the fact that he's a kid still. Like he's like what, 23 or whatever. Like he's still very, very young to be receiving the amount of mixed emotions from the entire world that he's receiving. Like that's a lot to handle, and he hasn't always handled it the best. Like I don't think anyone would. It's the same like Kurt Cobain. He got famous, was not expecting it. No one was expecting it. He kind of like started an entire genre of music. Well, no, he didn't start the genre of music. He made an entire genre of music, an underground scene, get popular. That'd be like if upbeat, jazzy bagpipe metal, which is a thing.
Yes. Beautiful.
Became, like the next generation of music. It was crazy. And he didn't want to handle it. And then all those tabloids that existed back then were writing stories about his drug addiction or his wife or all that stuff. And he killed himself a lot because of that. I mean, there was other factors. He had depression. He had a debilitating disorder in his stomach. And he had a lot of pain in life. But one of the biggest factors of that was the fact that everyone was expecting him to be the Axl Rose, and he wasn't the Axl Rose. He was the kid from Washington that like got famous.
The kid from Washington. I feel like the way some celebrities try to make a positive impact, in case in point, Billy Joe Armstrong. His songs sound political, but they're not. I mean, in a way, he can mean them politically, like the song "Holiday." But again, it depends on how you view the song.
Yeah.
And he's constantly posting on his social media that about Donald Trump. Like every other post he makes is about Donald Trump or his tour currently.
Yeah. I see. That's another example of I don't like Billy Joe Armstrong. Actually, funny story. My dad was in a punk band when he was younger. The lead singer of his band was friends with Green Day. Like
awesome.
Before they were famous, and he used to like prank call them because they were kind of known in that before they were famous for being really big stoners. So they would prank call them and tell them, "We got you a free pizza," and then the next day he'd call them back like, "You didn't get us a free pizza," and like that. So that's my view of Billy. I don't view him as this big rock god. I view them as my dad's lead singer of my dad's band's friend. Like it's
great because Shelby's just dying right now.
Yeah.
I have looked up to Billy Joe Armstrong since I was 2, and he was around when my mom was my age.
Oh yeah, like.
And he's still a legend. He can still. Oh my God.
Yeah. So my view of Billy Joe Armstrong is a little different than most people's. I never.
Pretty much everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I broke Shelby.
I'm broken. Thanks, Martin.
Okay, but yeah, like I never liked Billy Joe Armstrong, but I understand what he means to a lot of people. So I've never been one to like openly poke fun of him. Like I have conversations with my dad about him because that's a funny story. That's a really funny story that I get to tell all of my metalhead and punk rock friends. Like, yeah, my dad, like his singer of my dad's band knew Billy Joe Armstrong. Like, that's cool. I know them from then. Like, that's the story that I've heard a lot. I don't pay much attention to how he is now. He has kids now, and it's kind of weird to picture this guy that like used to be tricked into thinking that pizza was going to be delivered to him is like this big rock icon. But like, yeah, that happened. That's a real story, I swear.
Oh my God.
I might not be telling it exactly how it's supposed to be because it's been retold and retold and retold. But That's the gist of the story. Yeah. So my personal like rock icon is Dave Grohl. I have idolized him since I was very, very little. And unlike most people, I listened to his other bands first. And he is one of the, in my opinion, biggest examples of being positive with being a celebrity and like not taking it too seriously. And I think that's cool.
It's fun to think about what celebrities were like before they got famous. Because case in point with your Billy Joe Armstrong story. Like he was a stoner. He was just living it up in the 90s before he got famous, before he was this huge punk rock influence.
Mm-hmm.
And now he has children and gray hairs.
Yeah, and he was being tricked into thinking that there was free pizza coming to his house.
Yeah. And I've always looked up to Billy Joe Armstrong. I have a friend who thinks Green Day doesn't deserve any credit or any recognition at all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I disagree. No matter what your views on music are, it deserves to be recognized.
They stayed along for quite a long time, too.
I think, so I'm not a Green Day fan. I think they got famous because of the genre of music they played, but they did not invent that genre.
No,
but
they definitely did not.
I would be the last person to say that they don't deserve what they have, because they do. Mm-hmm. They like, obviously if you have that, you deserve it. I think most people who get famous, if they're famous, they deserve it. In some sense of the word, I think everyone deserves to be famous, but that doesn't mean everyone can be.
Yeah.
Like that, I never liked Green Day. I still don't like Green Day.
That's perfectly fine.
But I like that genre of music, and I can say they're very influential, and they have made an impact on music, because I like the Descendants. They're a pop punk band from the late 70s, and without Green Day, they would not, because they came out way beforehand. But without Green Day making it famous, making that genre of music as popular as it was in the late 90s, no one would know who they are. And like, I think that's really, really cool. Another example that I just thought of, which is completely random and not related to this at all, is the Cash Me Outside person.
That's not related to the subject we were talking about, but it is related to celebrities, because she got really famous even though she's 16.
Yep. She's 13, I thought.
Oh, wait, even younger. Oh my god. She looked older, I swear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure, I don't know this story exact because I don't really follow news and stuff like that. So she went on Dr. Phil. She said, "Cash me outside. How about that?" Now she has thousands of dollars. She's making an album with like Jay-Z or something. She has a planned reality TV show.
Oh my god.
Thousands of millions of dollars because she said those words for being on Dr. Phil at 13 years old. And I think that she gets bullied a lot. Like, kind of, I mean, it's hard not to.
Yeah.
Because, like, she's, that's the prime candidate for something to make fun of. But that doesn't mean you should. Like, resist the urge to make fun of the 13-year-old reality TV star.
Does anyone remember from, like, 2015? I know, gotta look into the archives.
I know, that's a long, long time ago. I was 12 years old.
Oh, man! Let's see. There was a song that went around that, like, people made fun of so hard, and my mom got a little upset that me and my brother were making fun of it. Because it was such a stupid song. And this kid got famous after saying, like, he literally played, like, charades with his music. Like, not, I guess not charades, but, like, 20 questions. Like, he just took random words that rhymed and just threw them into one giant song. Like, it was, like, oh God, I don't even remember how it went, but there was...
I've never heard of this.
That sounds...
I know I'm being really vague, but I cannot remember. But there was like a huge song, and they got really popular over like the R&B community.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember this at all.
And it's this kid, and I'll send the video. I'll send a link if I ever find it. But it was like he like started like mumble wording Lamborghini, Bugatti. There was like a rooster. Like people like actually sat there and listened to the song, listened to this cringy song, so they could figure out what he was saying. And there was like someone, and it had little pictures as the song was going on, and it was like there was like a Lamborghini, there was Bugatti, there was a lighter, there was a rooster, there was just a whole bunch of things, and I was like, oh my god, what is this?
I think I recognize that, but it sounds horrible.
No.
It was like the start of the memes.
Oh no, memes came back way before that.
But
I mean, I'm on the older side. I mean, when I started with the whole meme things, there was only the big white font, and all the memes had something to do with kittens or minions.
Yes. The Pinterest memes.
Back in my day, all the memes had something to do with hating Mondays.
Yes. Oh, yes.
That's great.
I was chewing. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Okay. We had a few awkward silent moments when it was just me and Willow.
Oh, I just thought of another thing. This is a little bit... Well, yeah, I guess it still counts. So, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the band Metallica.
Yes, very familiar.
I mean,
kind of.
I have a Lars Ulrich Funko Pop right here.
Aww,
yeah. So they were in the underground thrash metal scene. And then they released in 1991 or 92 the Black Album, and everyone called them sellouts. And then the next like 4 albums were very, very you could tell that they were trying to make money off of them. There's nothing wrong with that. They were trying to feed their families, but you could tell they were much less loyal to their underground roots at this point. And then, just as like the internet was becoming popular in like the late 90s, early 2000s, there was this thing called Napster, and it allowed for you to illegally download music. It was like the first illegally download music thing. And basically Metallica found out that there was a rehearsal song that wasn't even supposed to be released, that was found and released, and that their music was being sold illegally online. And these millionaires got super, super triggered by this and like sued Napster and did all these like PSAs about Napster and went on this huge like political thing. And everyone was like, these guys are douchebags. They're sellouts. Why would they do this? We don't like. I don't want to spend $7 on a CD. Like, you guys are famous. Why do you care? And they would defend themselves like, this isn't about money. This is about like, this is our music, and we don't want it being illegally distributed. It doesn't really matter. That part is just background. So basically, that was the start of everyone hating Metallica because of that and calling them idiots and terrible. And this is what happened because of this. One of, like, not generally because of this, but one of the reasons why this is all happening. So their lead singer had to go to rehab for months. Their drummer, who's the person who started the Napster thing, had to take a break from music for a little while to focus on his family because he couldn't handle all the insults. Their bassist left the band, and their guitarist moved to, like, I don't even know where, it had started a farm for a little while, for like a year span. Well, one of them was in rehab, one of them took a break from music, one of them had a ranch, and the other one left the band. And that's all, not entirely because all of them had these issues before, but a lot of it was because they could not, like, it's still hard, even if you're famous, to handle that.
Yeah.
There was a documentary made about the entire time, and then they released an album which wasn't very good, but it was still a good album. And it's called Some Kind of Monster, and they talk about this album, and there's a part where it's the drummer talking about, like, there's times when I can just be like, screw you, I don't care. And then there's times when I'm like, okay, I'm kind of tired of everyone going after me. And like, it's really hard to watch because you don't see it like the way they see it until that happens. And I was the one who was making fun of them for that. And then I watched that documentary and I was like, oh my God, they're people. Even if they're these monster rock musicians, they're still people.
Yeah.
They have feelings. They still, like, they get hurt when you're continuously insulting them.
Yeah.
And I personally don't know how it feels because my bullying experiences, like I talked about last week, were very minimal because as soon as they started, they all stopped because I was homeschooled. But it's just to see musicians go through like rehab and like stuff like that, like especially Eminem, he's gone through a lot. And so you can see through like his albums from when he started to now that you can see when he was going through rehab, when he wasn't, when he was mentally stable, when he wasn't mentally stable. You can see it through his music. And I guess that's one way to release all of the tension, but if you personally can't do it, I'd support the sure, I'll be mad for like a minute, but if the musicians are, like, it hurts them to go on stage, then I see no point.
Yeah, I think some people, the being a musician thing was contributing to the, I mean, especially if you're if you're in the rock music scene. Another thing that is like, if you're a celebrity, like if you're a famous guy or a rock star, you have to do the hard partying and all that stuff. Like that's the only way it's real. And that was talked about a little bit in another documentary about the Foo Fighters where their drummer overdosed on heroin.
Oh.
And he like quit after that, but up until that point, he thought, and the only way that it's real is if it's the only way that's real rock. Like you're not a real musician if you don't do the hard partying, like the Rolling Stones, Motley Crue thing. And I think it's it's another thing where like people expect celebrities to not be people. And that's really, really stupid. It doesn't even make sense. Like, unless you're famous for taking insults, being good at music or good at acting does not mean that you're automatically good at taking like a lot of criticism.
Low self-esteem will always kick in and be like, hey, remember this crappy little comment you got like 4 years ago? Boop, there it is again, poking at you. And it's just and I understand how low self-esteem feels, and not good. Definitely not good.
No, not at all.
I feel like more celebrity-wise with our half an hour we have left.
You talked about Eminem for a second. I think he's a perfect example of not letting things get to him.
Yes.
He is able, he wasn't always, before he got famous, he had a harder time with it, but he had, for as long as he's been famous, at least publicly, been really, really good at taking all sorts of, even like the constructive criticism, like that word doesn't rhyme correctly, or the stupid, like, makes no sense criticism. He managed to like not care about all of it. At least I don't know the guy personally, so I don't know, maybe he does. But that's like part of his image is that he doesn't care what people think of him. And I don't think all celebrities need to just stop being themselves and just not care what people say. But I think everyone can learn a little bit from the way Eminem deals with it.
Yes,
everyone. I never thought I'd say. I'm not encouraging people to be like Eminem because that might not be the best advice.
Everyone might go a little insane every few months.
Yeah. Well, unless you're a rapper, then it's good to be like Eminem because he is probably the most technically proficient rapper ever.
Yeah. I had something to say. I forgot what I was going to say though. It's the story of my life every time I get on here. got something to say, but someone else is talking. Now I just gotta hold it in, and I forgot it. Well, that sucks.
I like the ones with less people.
Is this yours?
Well, I like all of them. I don't want to say that I don't like the ones with more people, but with less people, I feel like everyone gets a chance to talk.
Yeah.
With the fandoms one with like 13 participants.
Yep.
Holy moly, did I not talk?
That's how, like, even our first one was 3 people, our very first one, and I was scared to talk. Okay, now we're talking about talking.
This is where, I feel like this is celebrity because they asked, what happens if Youth on Subjects of the World gets famous?
Yeah, popular.
How will it affect us?
Okay, so how will it affect us? Actually, I don't know if you guys got the same briefing that the original cast, or whatever you want to call it, got. So it was so when we were talking about doing this, like last November, like we were on a call with some of the producers, and we were like, okay, so if in the case that Youth on Subjects of the World, we didn't have a name yet, it was working. In the case that this becomes popular, and there are people who are not happy with your opinions on things, and they're gonna go after you in the comments, I want you to know that like we'll delete it right away, and I don't want you to let it get to you because there's always going to be trolls and stuff like that. And like that was, I took that to heart, obviously, because it was a very, like, it was a tense moment. I had never done anything like this before, and I was like, oh, what am I getting myself into? But yeah, we already we had that like briefing when we were designing the show.
Wow.
And I think it's definitely like it's rising in popularity, and I liked it. We had one show where there was there was like a giant like argument in the comments. I think I'm not gonna name the show, and I don't even know who was arguing, but it was an argument, and it wasn't directed at us, I don't believe, but it was an argument directed at 2 people who disagreed in the comments about a topic we had been talking about. And that kind of thing is like wouldn't have happened 7 months ago, but it happened because like we're progressively getting a little bit more attention than we had when we started last January. So I think, me personally, I would probably be able to handle most insults. I'm pretty good at that. I've had a lot of people tell me I'm stupid for my opinions, so I mean, it wouldn't be anything new.
I feel like for me personally, I wouldn't be affected. I've heard worse about myself, and I've probably thought worse about myself. And so, and I have this mentality that now that has helped me get through any hate that I might experience in the future, and that is, if they don't know you well enough, they don't know how to get to you. And the people who do know you well enough know that either they're full-on joking about it, or they know not to hurt you.
Unless you're into roasting.
I mean, if you're into roasting, go ahead, roast some friends. As long as you know the friends can take it. Come on.
An interesting thing is, me and my grandmother very regularly have roast battles with each other. It's weird, like when I have friends over and we're doing that, they're like, "What is going on?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's just we're roasting each other. It happens. We do it."
It sounds amazing.
It's funny. It's funny. It's interesting.
Me and my uncle will constantly get in slap fights because we both have really skinny arms, so it doesn't hurt us, and we're just like bone on bone. So I'll like antagonize him, and then I'll just get like swooped through it. I'm just like sitting there like, my face hurts now.
Sometimes,
and I got him on I like brushed his nose once.
Sometimes with my friend, I've had a hard time in the past taking. I have a harder time, I think, taking constructive criticism.
Oh, constructive criticism is always the worst. I feel like bullying criticism, like the bullying, I can deal with, but constructive criticism like gets to me. I'm like, I know they're trying to help, but
I know it's supposed to be helpful, but then you're like, but no.
Yep. Another thing that I've just thought when it comes to constructive criticism, especially in the like guitar and drum world, because that's what I have the most experience with. I mean, it's obviously in other places, but there's always the comparison. Like, you don't do it as good as this person. Especially when they have, like, people who compare Dave Grohl to Buddy Rich. That's not like, you can't do that. They're not the same. It's not the same. It's like comparing the acting of like Jim Carrey in The Mask to the acting of like insert dramatic actor in dramatic movie.
Scarlett Johansson. Two completely different people. One does comedy movies, one does action movies.
Although Jim Carrey has done some serious movies. Okay, we're getting off topic again.
It's still about celebrities. We're still sort of fairly on.
We're in the topic. We're in the first half. I don't even know what this episode is called. I've had a very, very busy weekend. I'm glad I managed to get on. So that's good.
It would have been interesting if no one else joined.
Yeah. I was really wait, well, what do you think would happen? How would you take constructive criticism over bullying? Like, especially for the show, like if it got really popular and something went down like that.
Constructive criticism and bullying are very different, obviously. I feel like I can take constructive criticism pretty decently. I can probably still take it more to heart. But again, they are trying to help, so I will try to understand what they're coming at. But if they do like compare it to something else, that's more not as much constructive criticism.
I think it depends on what they would be criticizing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some things that like would bother me more than others. Like if I cite a fact wrong and they can criticize that, I'm completely fine with that. I'm very bad at like I'm very bad at saying the thing exactly how it's supposed to be said.
Same.
So if they do that, if they do stuff like that, I'm fine with it. If they would criticize, I don't know, like just myself in general, I mean, that'd be a little more along the lines of bullying. I mean, for this show in particular, it's harder to have constructive criticism unless you're talking about like the format of how we do it. And that's more so like overall, and it's less in particular. It's not like it's less us handling it. It's more us just like, okay, let's regroup and retry it.
Yeah, 'cause it's harder to have more constructive criticism to a person.
Yeah.
Than the way of format is.
Yeah.
Because the person is actually like personal, but the format is just.
Yep. Especially if it's like, especially on a thing like this, where we're literally just like talking about things. Where you're not talking correctly. You're not doing this. You're not talking good enough. I think you should try these tips for help make your speech like more pleasant to my ears. Work on your grammar, like that kind of stuff. Like really weird, but that's like the only thing you can really criticize us for, other than our opinions on things. And even constructive criticism on opinions is like hard to come across as constructive.
Yeah, like that's just their opinion.
Yeah.
That's not yours or anything. So it's
not everyone
not
has
really,
to agree on their opinions. It's
can
just
state 'em.
opinions.
Yeah.
You have them. You agree with some people. You disagree with others. Get over it.
Basically.
Get over it. That's the greatest thing ever. Oh, I wanted to talk about something briefly before we finish up. So I don't know if anyone has oh no, I'm going in and out. If someone has heard about, there's kind of a big fight this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. And I've been following this for a while. I mean, I watched it live like 2 years ago when Conor McGregor knocked out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds. Like, I've followed this carefully. I'm not just someone who came in to watch this. And something I've noticed is that Conor McGregor is very, very good at taking criticism, but it almost cancels itself out because he's also very, very good at giving criticism and not necessarily in a constructive way. So he can, when he loses, he's very humble about it. But when he's before the fight, he is the biggest jerk ever and calls everybody out and tells every single person that does not agree with him that they're stupid or they look bad or they're a terrible fighter or whatever. So that's one of those things where I feel both ways because like he takes criticism really well, but
he doesn't give it very well.
He gives a lot of unconstructive criticism.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really balance itself out.
I feel like that's not so much criticism as he's just trash talking. And
it can be both.
It can, yes. I feel like as for what he does after the show or after everything's all said and done, they're all just chilling for the interview afterwards. And especially even when the ding rings that they're done and they have to stop fighting.
Yep.
It's all about good sportsmanship. If you
Yep.
can't have good sportsmanship and you can't like pat everyone on the back,
Yep.
even if you lost the
Yep.
whole thing,
Yep.
you're not a good fight. Like in the fighting case, you're not a good fighter in the first place.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because, like, you're literally going into a box and beating the shit out of each other
Yes.
for a set amount of time. If you don't have, like, if you have the emotional, like, if you have the physical durability to handle that and the emotional durability to handle that, you should be able to handle criticism. I think a lot of people can if you're in the fighting business. And I think a lot of people, especially nowadays, the Conor McGregor, like the trash talking thing, it's to get attention to the fight and to make money because like they made a lot of money. Conor McGregor made way more money than I could ever hope of making ever unless I become like
An
famous
entrepreneur.
or something like that.
Those guys make millions.
I know, but by losing a fight, he was paid $1 million to lose. Like,
oh my god!
Like that's a lot. I
No
don't even
wonder
know-
he's such a good sportsman.
Yeah, if you lose making that much money and you can't just accept it, then you have a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've just been informed. My sources are telling me that's $300 million Mayweather made for winning that fight.
Oh my
and,
gosh.
So
and
people-
McGregor won $100 million for losing.
Yep. So people who say, "Well, you can't make violence is no like nothing. Nothing good comes of violence." That is very
Apparently.
wrong. Apparently, if you're violent in a very technical way, if you're good at being violent in the sense that you're good at hurting, like so basically, if you're good at hurting people, you make $300 million. But yeah, okay. I like fighting. I'm not trying to badmouth it.
They're fighting in a professional way, Martin. This is their job. 27 minutes of work, and then they make $300,000.
Yeah.
$300 million.
And
then they're set for the year.
So I guess
life.
I guess the main point we're going to take out of this podcast is be more like Conor McGregor and all those other fighters in the sense that you can, like, if you have issues, beat the shit out of the person you have issues with, and then afterward apologize.
Fine.
That's the advice we're giving? No?
No.
No, that's not what we're giving? Okay, that's what I figured. Okay, so the advice we're giving is don't bully celebrities. It's a bad idea. Also, celebrities, stop being dickheads.
Celebrities, treat your fans like humans, not like you're a god. Don't be so shallow. People, treat celebrities like humans. They have a heart. They breathe. They have a brain sometimes.
If fans, sometimes.
Some of them have brains.
Wait, if fans just start treating them like humans, they're bound to act like humans.
Yes.
There you go. I think we might be out of time.
Yep.
So, unless anyone else has anything specific to add, I think we can close up. No? Okay. Bye.
Bye, guys.
If we want to change the world, we must first change the media. Mainstream media exists for the purposes of indoctrination and manipulation of public perception. The world of free and independent media is growing, and with the upsurge in information now available in the public domain, it has never been easier to access free and independent media. The exploration of this information resulted in an experimental project which would provide a fully supported space for researchers, whistleblowers, and seekers of all kinds to express themselves and educate the world. On the 1st of January 2015, Conscious Consumer Network was launched to the world. Nobody thought we would make it this far, but CCN is the longest running free and independent media network of its kind. CCN is a unique collaboration of hearts and souls, bringing you information from different perspectives to educate and inform. Since we started CCN, we have had only one desire, the pursuit of a free, fair, just, sustainable world, and this has not changed. Having overcome many challenges over the last 2 years, CCN is here to stay, and we've got great things lined up for 2017. Help keep CCN on the air by supporting the 2017 Network Support Fund.